So, welcome to the latest episode of No Appointment Necessary. Today, we've got Jack, who owns Winchester Physio and Health. And quite honestly, this is one I'm really, really excited for. Jack, we first met him about 18 months ago. And I think if you could do a case study in how to absolutely smash it from opening a clinic to building something incredibly successful in 18 months, he's done it. This one, I'm so excited to talk to you about exactly how you've done it, problems, and just really have a general chat to explore what's happened over the last 18 months and what the plans for the future are as well. So welcome, Jack. If you want to give me just a quick intro to yourself, who you are, and then we'll get on to the exciting stuff.
Yeah, cool. Well, firstly, thanks for inviting me on, Michael. It's a pleasure to be here. So I'm Jack. I'm the clinic owner of Winchester Physio and Health. And as Michael said, we opened 18 months ago. Before that, I spent about 5 or 6 years working in private physio across Hampshire, Berkshire, and into London. I was working across the kind of private physio network through Hampshire, Berkshire, and into London, and recognized a lot of good elements across various clinics, and just thought whether I could pull all of that together and create a better approach to physio.
Did you have a bit of, because I've only just found out how you funded it. Tell how did you fund it all?
Yeah, so I was saving up to move out of home, so getting a deposit to move out, and rather than moving out, I stayed at home and decided to open the business.
See, that's pretty entrepreneurial, right? That's exactly how people should be doing it. Did you also have a bit of an entrepreneurial spirit there, where you're like, I really want to own my own business, or was it more sort of accidental? I should just do it.
I guess it comes from my dad. My dad's owned several businesses, and I'd always kind of looked up to him as someone that had worked for himself, worked hard, and kind of reaped the rewards. So it's kind of come from quite a young age, watching dad grow his business, and yeah, I just thought that I'd like to do it myself.
So did you get, because I find that a lot of clinic owners who approach us and we start working with, especially in your position, they're very green when it comes to basics like accounting and the basics of running a business. Did you already have a bit of that instilled in you then? And also, do you use your dad as a sounding board ever?
Yeah, I guess so. I'd watched dad whilst growing up. He was involved with meetings and accountants, and I was involved with the business as I kind of went through college and university, getting involved during the summer holidays, working through, and yeah. So yes, I guess he was a bit of a sounding board for opening Winchester, and yeah, I kind of learned a lot from him, I guess, before even approaching that.
So let's start right at the beginning. So I remember you booked in a call with us and we got on the call together. And I remember being in a little bit of a grumpy mood that day. And you had said, I'm opening this clinic and I want help with marketing. I'm going to call it I think it was Evolve or Evolution Physiotherapy or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, no, don't do that. And what was really interesting, we had a really great discussion and you essentially did everything we said. Right. It was like, these guys know what they're talking about. I'm going to do everything you tell me. And you did. Right. And I think that gave you a really good starting point, because from a marketing perspective, I think we sort of started about 3 months before you opened and actually opened the clinic.
I think it would have been. Yeah.
Yeah. So by the time it opened, everything was in place. Right. It was just ready to rock and roll, which is really cool. So I think from a marketing sort of perspective, it was really important that even though I was a bit grumpy and in a bit of bad mood, you took it really well and you just went, all right, fine, I'll do it. And it was important from a marketing perspective. But then beyond that, you've gone from a position 18 months ago of being a very teeny little clinic to now having, how many physios have you got 18 months later? Or how many staff members? 4. You got 4 staff members.
Yeah. Yeah. So 4
So
physios.
6.
6 in total, 4 physios, and then admin and support. So yeah, there's 6 in total.
Yeah. So 6 staff in 18 months. We're not going to go into numbers or anything, but you're absolutely smashing it. You can certainly afford probably to pay your deposit back by now. Or you're still scheming and living at home and being frugal. But now you're opening another clinic as well, which we'll go into a bit later. But let's go back to, you got your marketing in place, everything's looking great. How did you bloody do it? How did you this far in 18 months? Because there are clinics who have been operating for 15 years that haven't managed to get to the point that you are today, both in terms of your revenue and in terms of your net profit, actually, against that revenue, which I think is absolutely sensational. And for any clinic, never mind one that's 18 months old. What's the secret sauce?
Yeah. So I was thinking about this before the call, but there's nothing special. We've just got the basics right, I guess. All the way back 18 months ago when we spoke to you about clinic name and how that would influence SEO, etc. It all started, I guess, with what you and your team did at HMDG and in setting us up and getting us out there. So that was a
Mm.
massive part. You know, it's driven a huge number of new patients into the clinic, whether that's via the website, Google Ads.
Yeah, but you know what? I think it absolutely, and we'll take definitely take a little bit of credit, and you still owe me a bottle of wine or something, or a Christmas hamper. But I can't take all the credit. And you know, for example, there are very few people that have the eye and spend as much time and do it as well as you in terms of fitting the clinic out, because it looks absolutely fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Did you do all of that yourself?
Yeah, we did. So dad's a builder. So it comes back to dad again, I guess. That saved a huge amount of money, I guess, in terms of startup and setting the clinic up. But yeah, we wanted to make it a space where people wanted to work. So we would, I guess, attract good physios, making sure that the environment was good and we had the equipment to attract quality practitioners, but also attract clients and clients that we want, I guess. So make that space welcoming, engaging. We're in a great location in Winchester and we wanted to, I guess, take full advantage of that. So yeah, we didn't really have much of a budget, I guess, when it come to the fit out, because we wanted it to be right.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because you hit on 2 points there. First is it looks fantastic, even from like the uplighting, the kind of exposed brick walls.
Mm.
It just looks fantastic. It's the sort of place where, you know, I often mention Third Space as a place that's got a really great brand and how they kit it out. You've almost built like a mini Third Space in Winchester, which is amazing. You've also gone for the S&C side of things as well, right? So you're
Yeah.
not just a physio who's treating people in a room. You've got a really nice S&C space. But then beyond that, you know, so you've created that patient experience, which I think is the number one lesson for anyone, right? It's create a great patient experience.
Mm.
Your reception fantastic, the rooms look fantastic, the gym space looks fantastic. Even externally, actually looking at it, it looks like an amazing place to go, and I would have no hesitation in going there. And then you got all of that right, but then you've also got the location. You chose really wisely because you didn't do not that there's anything wrong with this, but you didn't go and open up in a gym, pure gym around the corner. You didn't open up in an industrial estate, for example. You went, I'm going to be on the high street, will be visible.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
How much do you think that made a difference in terms of being on the high street?
I think it made a big difference. We get a huge amount of passing trade. We get a lot of walk-ins on a daily basis that come in and book appointments. So yeah, I think from an exposure visual point of view, absolutely does make a difference. We're not hidden away on a business park. We are there. We're next to yoga studios, private dentists. Yeah, I think the location was a massive hit.
Yeah, I think so. I think out of interest, how many walk-ins do you get per week, roughly?
Don't know, 8, 10, 12, something like that, around there. I don't track it, but it's good numbers. Yeah.
No, that's really good. Like, you know, I think just getting pure walk-ins is huge. But I think also, I think being on the high street in that way and having a clinic looks like that, it almost gives you more credibility in patients' eyes, particularly in an area like Winchester, very, very wealthy. I think if someone sees you on the high street, it looks great from outside and so on. I think and matched with your digital as well, because you've got an amazing website and socials and whatever. I think that definitely gives a lot more credibility, and you probably get a higher percentage conversion rate from people who are walking by or people who come and see your website or whatever the case may be. So I think that's super important.
Yeah, we have a lot of clients that live local, just want to be able to walk in, and we're able to offer that, I guess.
That's it. Did you, you mentioned yoga studios, Pilates studios and private dentists. Have you done anything locally to build relationships with other similar businesses?
Loosely, yes, we do. So we work with the yoga studio next door, a few of the reformer studios as well, but they're loose. They're very, very loose partnerships. We've never really worked overly hard at securing anything official, I guess. There's no kind of locked in partnership. We know each other and we share clients to each other, but there's nothing kind of formal or fixed on that. We haven't needed it to be. And yeah, we know where each other are, but we haven't got any kind of formal partnership.
Yeah, but I think it's important, especially in formal partnerships, making sure that you have other, especially with a yoga or Pilates studio, where you can refer in and out, and I think that's really important. That probably gets you a fair amount of business as well over the course of a year.
Yeah, absolutely does. We share flyers and we've got bits in our place and they've got bits of ours in theirs. And yeah, it's just being involved in the local community. It definitely helps.
And so I think what's been really interesting, because I mentioned you actually on a call with a potential client earlier on today. None of this is rocket science, right? I don't
Yeah.
think it's particularly difficult to build a really great clinic and get patients through, because you've never really had a problem with patients. I can't remember the last time you said, guys, we need to do something because it's so quiet. We need to, you just haven't
Yeah.
really had that problem.
No.
You've really always been very lucky with getting patient numbers
Yeah.
through. And I think that's, again,
Absolutely.
very early on. Again, from a digital perspective, very early on, we went into SEO and we got you visible pretty quickly. I think you're probably
Yeah.
number one in all of Winchester now for everything. Obviously, the website and everything else. But then at the same time, again, being on the high street, looking the way your clinic does, patients haven't been a problem. But I'm wondering about the staff, because you've also employed quite a few staff. That doesn't seem to have been a problem for you either.
No, it doesn't. We've been really lucky, I guess. I had Sophie join initially in September last year. I knew her from before. I knew her background. I knew she was a good physio. She brought in the women's health, mummy MOT reformer service, which has been incredible. And then the others that we found were just through Indeed ads. So I tried to find physios through my network and through people I know, but I couldn't actually find anyone. So we put some ads out on Indeed, and we've been really lucky that we found some good quality, experienced physios. I think,
But I think, sorry, I think one of the reasons is that, again, you said it right at the start, you built something where people wanted to work. And I
yeah,
think that if I was a clinician, I would want to be in that clinic. It looks great. It feels right. You've got the right vibe, the right culture, and so on.
yeah, exactly, and that's another reason why we did it. And I guess we offer the valve systems and the shockwave and the unlimited CPD and all the other bits to attract the kind of physio that we're after. I guess we want a young team. Everyone's young there, is keen to learn, and yeah, we've been super lucky. It's made a huge difference. Patients
Yeah.
love our physios, and yeah, it's been great.
You've also quite quickly, actually, compared to many clinics, you started expanding the services
Mm.
into lots of different areas. You mentioned Vowed and Shockwave, but you've done a lot more, right? You're doing a lot more on women's health, for example.
Yes.
What made you start thinking about doing that? What was the reasoning behind that? Was that the plan from the start,
No.
or did you start getting so many patients and then you decided to start doing more services?
Yeah, so I guess it all happened really from Sophie joining the team September last year. So um, I spoke to Sophie back just as we opened. I've known her for a while. I wanted a female physio to be able to offer that diversity, I guess, across male and female clinicians. And she lives in Winchester, and she was already experienced and come from a women's health background. Winchester at the time, I don't think it still does, have much of a women's health physio service. So we wanted to tap into that. There's a lot of young mums that have moved away out of London down into Winchester. So again, the kind of market that we wanted to capture. They've moved out of London, ready to start a family. We really wanted to tap into the kind of mummy MOT, women's health, reformer Pilates based service. And that's Sophie's diary. She's full time, and that's all she sees now is reformer and mummy MOT. So it kind of happened, I guess, just based on Sophie joining the team and recognizing the gap in the market. And yeah, it's been great.
So it's been 18 months. You've got yourself to a point where you're making lots of money, very profitable. In terms of capacity, where are you now? Like, are you a sort of, or occupancy? Are you like 80%, 60%, 90%? What's the kind of number?
95%. So this week, for example, I think we've got about 2 or 3 30-minute gaps across 3.5 physios. So yeah, we're pretty close to capacity, which is good and bad, I guess. It brings its challenges. Patients want appointments in the same week. We're not able to offer that, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great position to be in.
I guess one of the challenges is you can't actually expand much more, right, in the location that you're at.
Not
It's not
really.
like you can just choose
Yeah.
your room or whatever.
No, we're much at capacity.
Yeah, but again, being at 95% is absolute madness. You know, I
Yeah.
know The people are always going to ask, what's the secret sauce? And I think if I can just kind of say, it's get your marketing right and do it really, really well. Make sure you got the brand right. Make sure you really fit out your clinic and you create a brilliant patient and clinician experience within the clinic. Because there's nothing worse. I remember once going to see someone for an interview, and it was at like a Regis office. I'm like, oh my God, it's like, I'm not going to work here, right? It just was, it was awful. And I
Yeah.
think that, to create a really nice experience, it's going to help clinicians, it's going to help you recruit, it's going to help you bring patients through the doors. Marketing, experience, fitting it all out, and then location. These are the key sort of elements. And then beyond that, looking at your team and knowing what I do, I think also building a really good team that all gel together, have a really nice culture. Like, there's no one there where I think everyone likes each other, right? Everyone really gets on, and you've got a proper little mini family type
Absolutely
team.
have. That's exactly
With
right. Yeah. I think also we
how
often,
did you do that? How did you do that? What was the secret there? Or,
what with getting the team to kind of gel and build that family kind of,
yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I guess we try and fit in fortnightly kind of coffee breaks where we'll go out to a local coffee shop, sit down, have a chat, and make sure it's nothing about work. We do 3 or 4 kind of socials throughout the year. So whether that's like a summer social, Christmas, spring, Easter, that kind of time, just to get everyone outside of work, outside of the clinic, and doing fun things, I guess, whether it's coffees, going out for drinks, going out for evening meals, something, been to the rugby, just trying to mix it up, I guess, just trying to get people away from the clinic and build that family unit that we have. And yeah, I think that's what it's come down to, just getting people away from the clinic and enjoying that time together.
I think also it's choosing the right personalities when you're hiring, right?
Yes, yes.
You've got to make sure people gel and will fit in with the other people that are already there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's when we have recruited, it's, yes, clinical skills and experience are important, but actually just finding the right person that not only is going to fit with the team, but is able to build that rapport with the patient is almost more important than the clinical skills at some point.
Yeah.
It's we can train and we can put people on courses to make them better physios, but you can't make them a better person. So yeah, that's super important.
Yeah. I think another thing that is, because I think you're very humble, and uh, I think you truly believe a lot of it is an accident. And I do, people often say to me, oh my God, you're a genius. Look what you've done with HMTG. I'm like, it's really fucking hard work, and it's a lot of accidental stuff happening at the right times, right?
Yeah.
You can never, in the same way as when something goes bad, you can't knock yourself too much. If something's really great, you can't just pat yourself on the back all the time. You got to realize, like, a lot of
Yeah.
this is kind of control. But there was something else that was really interesting about you, which most people don't have, which was going right back to the beginning. But even since then, you had a very commercial mind and a very commercial brain. You were not scared of spending money. And when we had those first conversations, we were talking about costs and how we were going to do it. You weren't stupid. I think you even asked for a discount at some point where I said no, but you weren't stupid. But at the same time, you weren't scared of spending money in the right ways. And I
Yeah.
think that's another really important thing, because I think a lot of people, a lot of clinic owners, and partly maybe because of bad experiences in the past, or
Yeah.
maybe it's just a worry, they are always concerned. They find it, even to this day, we've got clients that find it difficult sometimes to really grasp the concept of ROI. Whereas
Yes.
for you, it was very, very simple. I put in £1, I get £5 back. I need to find more pounds to put into the magic slot machine, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And throughout the whole time, you've been like that. You've never been worried. Even when it came to very early on, I said to you, we can either start the SEO straight away, spend some money, and make sure that by the time you open, you're in the top of Google, or we can wait a while and do that later on. You said, let's just do it now, because I can see why it's important. I know it's going to cost money, but I'm willing to invest because I know that's going to work. And I suppose maybe this comes from, again, your dad being a bit of an entrepreneur, maybe.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess there is a bit of that, but also, um, I don't know, comes down to, I guess, I reached out to you guys. You guys suggested what was best and how we're going to make this work. And, patients come to us for advice, and you'd hope that they'd take it, and, you flip it the other way. And yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah,
That's do you know what? I'm going to use that in the future. Patients go to you for advice. come to us for advice and take it. And because we get a lot of people who don't actually. But I suppose also there's an element of risk here, right? Because this wasn't money that you had inherited or whatever. It was real money. It was your
Yeah.
deposit. And there's inherently a risk, right? With anything that you do in life,
Yeah.
starting up the business in the first place, right? Whether it's
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
marketing or do
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So that you must at some level be a bit of a risk taker.
Yeah. Maybe. I guess. Yeah. Maybe I am. I don't know.
Well, let me ask you, let's say we go out, we get a bit pissed, and we end
Yeah.
up at a casino. And I suggest let's stick $1,000 on black or red.
Yeah.
Would you do it?
Probably.
Yeah, I would as well.
Yeah. Probably would. So yeah, maybe then. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe with 10 grand.
No, probably no. But yeah, no, maybe I am. Maybe I am. I don't know it. But yeah, I'm not
No,
sure.
I think you are,
Yeah.
but I think most successful entrepreneurs are risk takers, right? I think you've always got to take risks when you're, and they can be calculated risks and they can be informed risks and so on. I'm not suggesting that you just start putting all your money on red or black, but you've got to sometimes calculate risks. I saw an interesting TikTok earlier with Elon Musk, and he said back in 2008 he had 2 companies and he had
Yeah.
$30 million left, and they were both falling down. And he had to make the decision which one he puts the $30 million into. In the end, he couldn't decide. And he said they were like his babies. He'd rather lose both than rescue one and see one die because he didn't take the risk.
Wow. Yeah.
So, and those companies end up being SpaceX and Tesla. So it was kind of an interesting analogy, I suppose, because it is that risk element. You'd rather see it die and take the risk than not succeed and not take
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
risk.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting.
And you're very much like that as well, which brings us on to your next big risk-taking adventure, which is you're opening up another clinic.
Yes. Yeah, we are. Hopefully planning to do exactly the same again, but we'll see. So yeah, no, hopefully opening February, March next year. So we've just taken the lease for another premises, this time in Romsey. So about 20 minutes outside of Winchester. But yeah, the plan is to do exactly the same again when it comes to website marketing, design of the clinic, hopefully the team that we can recruit. And yeah, absolutely. We'll go again.
It's really interesting, isn't it? Because it's exactly that will put you in exactly 2 years from the day of opening the first clinic in Winchester.
Yes.
Now you've got exactly 2 years later.
Yeah, I'd never have thought I was 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and I suppose I bet you could never have imagined that 2 years later you'd be opening up a second clinic because you don't have any more space in the bloody first one. You're that rammed.
Yeah, it's mad. It is crazy. It's I kind of set out a bit of I always planned that I wanted to open a second before I opened Winchester. And kind of structured, I guess, a bit of when am I going to do that? And yeah, it definitely wasn't at 2 years. So yeah, we've definitely.
Has it all been a bit of a dream? Does it feel like a dream?
Yeah, I guess it has a bit. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it has. It's been, I guess it probably has. It was never what we expected it to be. Recruiting someone that's in September, 6 months from opening, and then another one in the new year. And yeah, everything's come through a lot quicker than what we expected, which is great. But yeah, hopefully we can,
I am genuinely super pleased for you. And we've got a few people like you who have done exactly the same thing. Again, I don't think any of this is rocket science. It's just doing things the right way and being sensible about it, with a bit of luck and a lot of hard work. Interestingly, with the new clinic. So yeah, let's see. It'll be really interesting to see whether we can replicate it. I think I think you can we can replicate our side, but I think you can replicate it. And I wouldn't be surprised if you're in a similar position in the next 18 months again. I don't see any reason why not. The only reason would be some kind of location specific thing, but I don't think that would be the case. So yeah, I'm super pleased. So the plan is going to be to recreate same services as well in Romsey. And will you use it maybe as an outlet for patients in Winchester that can't get in to come and visit Romsey?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a very small client base that travel from Romsey to Winchester at the moment. So we're not quite sure on the services yet. There might be some that we offer in one that we don't offer in the other initially. So hopefully we can kind of bounce patients to and from, with it only being 20 minutes or so down the road. But yeah, the view will be to eventually offer the same services, but patients can move
Yeah.
within one or the other. So yeah, no, it should be good.
So we've talked about like what an amazing journey it's been, and a bit of a dream. And I have to, we talk often, and we had the same experience with HMDG. We were just like, holy shit, it just grew and grew and grew, and it was
Yeah.
really hard. Don't get me wrong. I want to ask, were there, because I can give you a million things where we screwed up, where we made wrong decisions, where things went really badly wrong. Has that happened to you over the last year, where you just been like, oh, Jesus Christ, that was a terrible idea, or this was a terrible mistake? What are the biggest challenges?
No, not really. No, we haven't really had anything, like no big mistakes. We've had small ones where we've decided that we'll run some group S&C in the gym and then realize it doesn't really work with the space that we've got and patients coming in still for other appointments. So overutilizing the space, maybe. We've had a little bit of that where we've almost jumped to other services or appointment types, etc., that haven't really worked just because of the space that we've got. But nothing that's been, no big mistakes, or nothing there we've spent money that we wish we hadn't. So it really has just been, I guess, just maybe running before we can walk sometimes. But that's literally happened.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think, again, you've got to take a bit of credit, because you can run with a bad idea for a long time, or you can recognize it's a bad idea and
Yeah.
finish it up.
Yeah.
And I think that there is a skill and a talent in that, where whether that's, to be honest, it's not just ideas, right? It could be an employee that you keep on for too long, or fire at the right time, or it could be anything in business. And I think you've got that, where you're able to kind of detach yourself emotionally a little bit and go, all right, it was my idea, but it's not working. Let's can it. Let's move on.
Yeah. And I guess that's what we've had. We've had a few of those, but nothing big and major. So again, yeah, we've been lucky, I guess.
And I think looking at another reason for the success, I suppose, is that you went into it with a pot of money, which obviously, not everybody has, and we can say you're lucky or whatever to have that. But I think that from what I see a lot of clinic owners, new clinic owners, or even those who come to us and say we want to do special things. They very rarely have a pot of money. And I'm not saying you had like 100 grand. It wasn't. It was small.
Yeah.
It was a mini pot of money.
Yeah.
But at least you had enough to say, I can do this and pay for everything for 4, 5, 6 months.
Yes.
And I think that I think that's really important, because we see a lot of clinic owners who come to us and they say, I want to do X, Y, Z. I've got £500. And it's like, well, there's not much we can do with that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I guess it comes back to living at home and having that deposit that I decided to spend on the business, but also, yeah.
Well, reinvesting the money as well, because you haven't just been like living a life of Riley, sitting in the Maldives like I have. You've been taking the money and putting it back into the business, right?
Yeah, we have, absolutely have. We upgraded our shockwave machine pretty early on. We wanted to offer shockwave from the beginning, and we didn't really buy an amazing machine initially, but we wanted to offer it. So we got kind of a very kind of low kind of entry level machine, which we then decided to upgrade early on when we realized that the service was taking off. We added reformer. I didn't realize how expensive those machines were until we committed to buying one. So yeah, we have reinvested, which has been good. It's definitely paid off, and we've
do you need a new reformer? Because one of our very lovely clients has started a reformer business doing really amazing reformer machines. So I'm going to get her on a podcast, actually, because she's got an insanely great clinic, or set of clinics, and she's managed to do a huge amount of money through recurring revenue on the reformer side. So I'm going to get her on to talk about her new business, but also how she built the business around reformer almost. So give me a shout if you're looking for a reformer. But are you, in terms of the future, what is going to be interesting for me is you've got a lovely clinic in Winchester. Romsey is a good 20, 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
Do you think that the Winchester clinic is going to be able to run with you focused much more on Romsey, or do you envisage any problems there?
We'll see. I'm not sure. The plan at the moment is that I will go to Romsey 80% of the time and set up Romsey like I did at Winchester. We've got a very experienced physio that's come with management experience that's going to look after Winchester alongside me still. But yeah, we're going to hopefully bridge that gap over the coming months. But yeah, that's going to be tricky because I don't want to let go of it. But I feel like I'm going to probably have to a little bit to focus on the new clinic. So we've got a plan in place, but I don't know how well we'll
This
execute.
is fascinating. This is actually fascinating because you're a bit, excuse me, you're a bit of a guinea pig in some ways because, you open up a clinic with no real knowledge of how to run a business. You smash that. You go all the way through. You open up a new clinic. Now you're going to have to navigate the joys of two locations, two teams, trying to get all of that working together. Where do you put your focus? It's going to be really interesting to see how you handle that as well. I think ultimately, the hard thing is always getting the patrons through the door. I don't think we're going to have a problem there. We certainly haven't had so far. So that makes life an awful lot easier, right? When you've got the
Absolutely.
money flow.
Yeah, totally. It's just, yeah.
It's much harder if you're completely empty in the new place and then you're like, well, I've got nothing to fucking manage.
Yeah, well, yeah, there is that as well. But yeah, no, it's it's not going to be easy, but we'll run with it and see how we go.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's finish now because I think it's been really good. I know you're busy with patients, but maybe we should do a catch up in like 6 months, 8 months, and just see how you've got on. I'm pretty confident you're gonna smash it. So yeah, I wish you all the best and lots of luck with that. Thanks again, coming on the podcast. Appreciate it very much.
Oh, thank you very much. No, it's been great. Thanks, Michael.